Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking an absolute masterclass in micro storytelling. We're looking really closely at the storyboard for Barnaby's Sunny Meadow Adventure. So, our main character here is Barnaby. He's this super fluffy brown bear living in this delightful, incredibly colorful 3D kawaii world. And we're going to break down exactly how this specific storyboard constructs a complete, emotionally resonant, and honestly, a highly educational narrative in an unbelievably short amount of time.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Because that right there, that is the million-dollar question. How do you build a truly magical adventure in just 120 seconds? We're going to deconstruct this preschool animation storyboard by looking at its really precise pacing, its use of stark color contrast, and its brilliantly placed interactive cues. You know, when you only have 2 minutes, literally 120 seconds, to capture a toddler's attention before they, well, wander off, every single second, every sound, and every shade of color absolutely must be perfectly calculated.
Part 1. The Hook and the World. Setting the colorful scene.
So what's truly fascinating to me here is the remarkably rigid pacing. Look at the timing here. We've got a 15-second cheerful welcome, followed immediately by a 20-second gray conflict, which builds right up to a 25-second colorful climax. Mapping out a tight timeline exactly like this is absolutely essential when you're dealing with a super fast-paced, 2-minute micro-narrative. I mean, you literally have to allocate exact seconds to the setup, the problem, and the solution just to make sure the story never, ever drags.
Now that initial 15-second welcome, it is built on pure, immediate, positive sensory joy. We're talking a bright blue sky and a literal smiling sun, all paired with upbeat, really gentle acoustic ukulele music, sweet little bird chirps, and this cheerful ding sound effect. Before Barnaby even introduces himself, the viewer is instantly, and I mean instantly, wrapped in this incredibly safe, joyful, and welcoming environment.
Part 2. The Colorless Conflict. Creating Empathy.
The absolutely crucial point here is how this conflict is communicated visually. Notice how we go directly from that bright, super colorful 3D animation of the intro straight into a patch of dull, gray flowers with drooping petals in the very next scene. This stark, immediate visual contrast creates a very clear, easily understandable problem for Barnaby. There's zero need for complex exposition or, long, drawn-out explanations. The viewer can instantly see that something is wrong just by sensing that sudden, shocking absence of color.
And the audio design, well, it follows suit perfectly. It completely shifts away from that cheerful ukulele we were just hearing, replacing it with this curious whistle sound and a soft, kinda sad slide whistle going down. This sound design perfectly mirrors the visual shift of the drooping flowers, and it really reinforces Barnaby's sad, confused reaction as he touches a gray petal. It tells the audience, both visually and audibly, that the joy has temporarily been, well, paused.
Then, right at the peak of this sad moment, the narrator steps in with a really crucial question. Can we help Barnaby make them happy again? This is such a brilliant transitional hook. By asking this directly, the narrator is basically inviting the audience to actively participate in the story. So they aren't just passively watching a sad bear anymore. No, they are literally being recruited on a mission to help fix the problem.
Part 3. Introducing Interactive Magic, the Solution.
So, the solution arrives as this brilliant sensory payoff. Barnaby reaches right into a hollow tree trunk and pulls out this amazing, glowing wooden paintbrush, complete with swirling magical sparkles and these little twinkle, twinkle chimes. This massive visual and audio payoff immediately signals to the viewer, hey, this brush is special, and it perfectly sets up the interactive mechanics that are about to come into play.
Now here is where the storyboard truly shines, turning passive viewing into a fully engaging educational game. First, Barnaby swishes the brush. Then the narrator explicitly asks the viewer, say it with me, red, and literally pauses. They actually pause for the viewer's response. Only after that specific beat does the flower burst into vibrant red with a fun, loud pop sound. This structure effectively makes the child feel like their voice actually caused the magic to happen. It's brilliant.
And this brilliantly illustrates the underlying educational value that is woven right into all this fun. When Barnaby giggles and says, red like a strawberry, yellow like the sun, he is doing way more than just reacting. This dialogue, backed by that upbeat, playful xylophone music, actively reinforces core educational color associations for the young audience. It firmly anchors the interactive magic right into real-world learning.
Part 4.
The rainbow resolution, the sensory payoff.
Okay, so as Barnaby twirls in a full circle, the screen just erupts in a massive sensory explosion. The storyboard details it all so beautifully. We get rainbow ribbons of light spinning out across the meadow, blue butterflies fluttering by, the green grass starts sparkling, and purple flowers bloom absolutely everywhere. Backed by a joyful brass fanfare and the lovely sound of fluttering wings, this beautiful climax richly rewards the child's active participation. I mean, they helped make this massive burst of joy happen.
Finally, the storyboard brings the energy back down for a friendly, much quieter sign-off. Barnaby sits down, surrounded by all his smiling floral friends, and waves goodbye as the sun gives this gentle little wink. And then, the narrator leaves the audience with this wonderfully warm quote, "Keep shining bright, little artists." As the music swells softly and then just fades out on a happy final chord, it practically guarantees the viewer leaves with a lasting, super positive impression of their big adventure.
Which leaves us with this final, really important thought. We've just seen exactly how a tight timeline, stark visual contrasts, and an action-reaction loop can quite literally create magic. So if just 120 seconds of strategic colors and interactive sounds can completely captivate a child, how can we apply this incredibly engaging, highly intentional pacing to our own storytelling? You know, whether you are designing for kids or adults, the mechanics of human attention, they really remain the same. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, I hope you keep shining bright.